Welcome back to HeartCheckpod. My name is Kanisha Simone, and here we talk about love, relationships, family. We have faith-based conversations, and we also talk about God. So today, I have my special guest here again with me, my husband, TJ,
Hello.
and he is back. He's trying to be on the pod all the time, y'all. It's giving he want to be a podcast host, but we'll see how that, we'll see.
I'm gonna get an interview.
Yeah,
Oh,
that means like you got to be here and ready every time.
I'm okay. I'm literally here every day, but I got you.
So how was your week? Because today is Friday.
Today is Friday, and
Yes. May 3rd.
today is a special day for me.
Yeah.
Today is my last day working at my job, my 9 to 5 job. I made the decision to quit so I can just chase my dreams and just chase what God has for me. My life is so busy with the things that I do. I just don't have time to go to
Right.
work and spend 9 hours of my day doing something else.
Yeah.
Today is very special.
Right.
Anything else? Anything else up there? I'm good now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So today is his exodus, okay?
Exodus.
Out of the 9 to 5 lifestyle. We have multiple businesses, and it is very hard to work a 9 to 5 and be an entrepreneur all at the same time.
It's tough.
Like something's not going to get the attention.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah.
And in my case, my 9 to 5 was not getting the attention it deserved. So,
Yeah.
you got to make those decisions in life. Tough decision, but it's definitely the right decision. And I'm not worried because God got me.
Yeah, when God say move, move. That's how I feel.
Get out
Like
the
if
way.
he says
Get
move,
out the way.
move, you know?
Yes.
So yeah, guys, we're on episode 4, season 2. Trying to keep track. So yeah. I know we had such a busy week though. Last week was really, really busy. Um, it was really life changing for me, I'll say. Like God showed up in a way that I couldn't even like absorb in my body. Like I was overwhelmed for days. Like I think today is the first day that I'm like, wow.
Yeah, so just walk them through like your past week
Ooh
from
wee.
your trip to Atlanta, and this is why I'm guessing that this is why we're doing an episode we're doing today about boldness and
Yeah.
talking more about God and not being afraid, so just talking unapologetically. Go back trip to Atlanta
I can't I
from what
mean
happened to
it's
now.
it's a long story, so I'm not gonna go all into
Okay,
details. But so last week, what day was that I left?
it was
Saturday?
last weekend. Yeah, Saturday.
Yeah.
Yep, Saturday.
So last Saturday I did a turnaround trip. I flew to Atlanta for an event. It was a podcast event. And I had all hopes of going to this church. So I called my cousin and I was like, hey, like boom, let's go to this event together. And then the next day we'll do church and I'll get on a flight and go home. Now, the church, I gotta shout out 2819 Church. Pastor Philip, like I have no words for him. Like if I could give him like millions of flowers, you know how they say give you your flowers while you still on earth?
Mm-hmm.
Like he deserves all of his flowers because that's how good of a pastor he is. Like even if he, I don't even know, like even if he wasn't a pastor and he was just preaching the gospel, like he's that good. But anyway, so I had been seeing him on social media and on like YouTube and all the things, and I was like, I just got to get in that presence. It was something in me that felt like I needed to be in the room. So I was like, okay, boom, this is a good time. I'm gonna go to the event and then do the other thing. So I go to the event. It was a big event. Lots of like celebrities and stuff was there, but I gave it a 3 out of 10. Like that's just me personally. I wasn't there for that. I
The
came there.
podcast event.
Yeah, the podcast event. I
Yes.
came there to do a thing. Like I wanted to go there for the picture podcast thing they had going on, and then I was like, all right, I'm out. Um, it just wasn't my vibe. Like I just noticed it wasn't my vibe anymore. Like, and I feel like I was like, all right, you done, go. So I just left. But nonetheless, like it was all right. It was an okay event. But then I went to church on Sunday, and it was just I'm trying to find the words to describe. I felt like something supernatural was going on when I stepped into the room. Like we got there, it was normal. I ended up being by myself for a while because my cousin was like doing something else. So when I walked in, it was like every person that I like learn from, like Bible teacher wise or possibly inspired by. I wouldn't say anything more than that. I like literally was running into, like bumping into them as I walk in the door, seeing them like in church worshiping, like all at the same time. It was very overwhelming. I wasn't prepared, and then we were having conversations. Like it wasn't like I just walked past everybody and was just like, oh, like no, it was like, hey, how you doing? What's up? Da da. Like
Yeah.
it was very overwhelming, and I did not expect that to happen. Like the odds
Yeah.
of all of us being in the same place at one time. And these are people that I like take notes like and learn from ever since I've been on my journey. It's been almost 2 years. And you know how you have your certain people that teach you, you know, more in depth. So I follow people or listen to people that go a little bit more further than like, your normal sermon. So that was just very amazing. Like God was just putting me in the room with all of the people, but I also felt like it was a test as well to make sure that I wasn't making anyone my idol, right? Because I had an option of going to meet up with some people and or go ahead and get the prayer that I needed at the end of the day, like when church was over. And I made sure I went and got prayer for me, my family, making sure we covered. And the person that prayed with me was so anointed. Like she was filled with the Holy Spirit. Like I felt it. I was boo-hoo crying, y'all. Like I was boo-hoo crying. And I was just so happy that I received that from her. And it was like a testament. Like God was like, are you gonna go and do the thing, or are you gonna go and get what you need from me right now? So I
That's
was
good.
just stuck for days after that. Like I didn't even know how to balance what had just happened. So yeah, that happened to me on Saturday and Sunday.
And I was here in Orlando. I actually had to film a wedding on Saturday, so
Yeah.
I stayed back with the family. I knew she was going to the podcast event, but once you told me, I don't know. Before she left, she was like, "Yeah, I'm going to this podcast event, but I'm going to church on Sunday. Oh, I'm about to go to 2819 on Sunday." And I don't know. I was just like, man, I wish I could have went with you the first time you went. But like,
Yeah.
I was filming this wedding, and I get a text from her, and she's just like, all she said was, "I'm overwhelmed."
Yeah.
And I knew like, I said, "What happened? Like, who did you see there?" And you was like, "Everybody."
And I'm not easily impressed. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't get overwhelmed very easy. Like it takes a lot to impress me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like everything, not even just them, even the person that was preaching. I was just like, Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot. It was a lot. Like God's presence is definitely in that church. Like I wish them all the great things because he is in the room. As soon as you step foot in, you feel it. It's not easy to say in today's age because God isn't in every room, but he is in that room.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it. Like, yeah. So yeah, it's been a week. And then after that, like things just kept coming and coming and coming. And I'm just like, I've been in this position where it's like with my heart, like I don't deserve none of this. Like I know that's not good to be thinking like that, but I'm like, yo, I don't deserve none of this. Like that unworthy feeling that you get when God just blesses you with the things, it's like I'm not worthy of any of this. Like, how do you want me to serve?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what I need. I feel like I need to serve more. Like the more that he gives me, the more I need to serve.
I agree.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it makes me
I
want to
agree.
just keep giving and doing the things for people and and helping out and giving to his people because God loves his people.
Yeah.
So
That wasn't the end of the story, though. I mean, well, that was the end of the Atlanta part, but then it's just
yeah,
so much more going
it's
on
so much more. I would have to do a whole episode on that.
in our life right now.
Like
You
I
know.
journaled it, babe. I journaled like this week. I didn't journal every single thing because every single day is something else. But like I feel like this is like a edifying week that
Mm-hmm.
like when we look back, we'll say like, oh my God, all these things was happening back to back. And I mean back to back. And then the enemy kept on trying.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we targets. I feel like excuse me. I feel like when God shines that light on you, you're a target.
Mm-hmm.
And the enemy just keeps on throwing, but nothing is hitting. Like
Nothing is it.
nothing is hitting.
That's a fact.
Nothing's hitting
Mm-hmm.
every single time.
Yeah.
And even if something does happen, I just got faith that like God gonna work it out. And even if he don't, I'm gonna be straight.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm gonna be straight. So
Yeah.
yes, so today's topic we're gonna be talking about boldness. being bold, being bold in the faith, sharing Jesus with people, our peers, the world, and not being afraid to say the things that God wants us to say. Like we have these platforms, we have
Mm-hmm.
all of the things, but I feel like it is literally like our purpose of living on this earth to share Him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
What do you think about that?
I agree. I mean, when we first started this podcast, me and Kanisha had a talk, and we were like, are we gonna talk about God on the podcast? Which I mean, I'm not saying that we were never gonna say like His name at all, but I mean like, will episodes literally be about the good things that God has done for us? Or are we just going to try to keep it neutral without any religion and just talk about, where people's heart is at?
Yeah,
But yeah, all the blessings, everything that's happened in our life, we're going to speak on it. So he's been amazing. To say
yeah.
the least. To say the least, he's been amazing.
I just think too, it was crazy for me even to believe. Like when I started this podcast, it wasn't like I just wanted to do this. Like it wasn't a part of the plan at the time. God gave me the vision for this podcast. God showed me myself sitting and doing this podcast. So it's like, how could I build something that He gave me and not glorify Him in it? That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's
that
like,
really
how
makes
dare
sense.
you? How dare you think that you about to do this whole thing and not put me in it? Yeah, right. You're going to talk about me every episode.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's been happening every single episode.
Yes.
Whether I started off with a certain topic, it moves that way. It's like I can't even help it anymore.
Mm-mm. No. It's the natural thing to do.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you do it without trying because this really isn't something that you have to think about. Like, man, should I mention God right now? I'll just talk about something else. Like it's
It's
just
second
automatic.
nature.
Yeah, it's automatic to me.
To sit there and think about it is crazy.
Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we feel like that, but a lot of people don't.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people who know of God, right? And He's done things for them, but they don't know how to share Him. One of the topics I want to touch on is that I think a lot of people in our generation that know of Him but don't share Him is because they don't know how to share Him. Like they don't know how to talk about Jesus without people like feeling away or caring if they feel away
Mm-hmm.
or are offended or whatever it may be. Um, but I've learned myself, even through just like discernment, like if God says go do a thing, you do it. Like if you sitting down with somebody and you know that they need to hear the gospel or they need to hear the good news or they need to know something about Jesus, you got to go ahead and just do it and be bold.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a level of boldness to go and start talking about God. Like, and people they feel a way about it. Like even me, like I've been saved for almost 2 years and I can't help but talk about Him every single day. And there's people that I've lost. There's friends that I've lost, followers on social media, because they like, she talk about Jesus too much.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like when He's done the thing for you,
Yeah.
like how can you not?
Yeah.
Like He literally saves you, delivers you every single day. How do you not talk about Him?
Mm-hmm.
So I just want like my generation to be more bold about that. Like I said that as a prayer before. I was saying like I just pray the spirit of boldness comes upon all of His people because it's like we have to share. These are people's like salvation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In our hands, we know a thing and we're not telling them about it.
Yeah. I think that people are a lot more afraid of the backlash or how they
Yeah.
look to other people. I mean, there's people that's been going to church their whole life, and you wouldn't even really know based on their social media that they go to church
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
single Sunday.
Yeah.
Like there's people that post a lot. They may post anything going on in life, but you'll never really see them posting about just Jesus. Like, and that's one thing that I did say about you, because I'm working to better myself in that position. But I've noticed that you are just bold. You've been bold since you started your journey. You don't care who feels what about what, but at the same time, you've also brought a lot of people into it, and it's
Yeah.
probably some. I think every time that's happened with you, you were surprised, like you were surprised yourself, like yo, look what they just said to me, like wow, like courageous, like I'm so glad you said that. I needed to hear that this morning. You also get a lot of those. It
Yeah.
isn't just like the unfollows and the I don't know who she thinks she is. She ain't the same Kanisha that I knew, like or even the
Mm-hmm.
jokes, snickers, laughs. Like you don't care. Like go to this girl's social media. Like
Yeah. I don't care.
don't care. Like you're gonna know like who's the leader of her life. Like you are going to know off every post, off
Yeah.
every story, like everything. And like that's something that I really admire about you.
Thank you.
Yes, because it's people don't really do it. I mean,
Yeah.
people like in the church, like I'm not talking about like pastors or things like that. Like yeah, they do, but I'm talking about like their people. You know, like they don't really do it. Like
Yeah,
they
I think
don't.
it's like so I think it's two things. For one, way back in the beginning when I first started this podcast and I started on my journey, one of the things that I did pray about, I said, God, please deliver me from people. Right? Because I
Mm-hmm.
cared a lot about what people thought about me. Like it was a flaw of mine. I really cared. Like I'm like, people gonna look at me this way, whatever. And once I said that prayer, I prayed to him to take that off of me. Like search
Mm-hmm.
my heart and take out the people. Like I don't need validation from people. And once he did that, I've been bold ever since.
Yeah.
So I feel like when you do go on your journey and you ask him for the whatever you ask him for, he'll give it to you. And I'm not talking about like things, I'm talking about things that's in your heart. Validation from people is a me thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I couldn't do it by myself. So whenever people see me like speaking about him and doing all the things, it's because of him, not me. I didn't choose just to be bold one day. I had to ask him to help me be bold.
Right.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
one of the reasons that I think people in the church don't share Jesus as much as they should is because I think people are focused on just the church, like the people in the church and Christians, when really we need to be focusing on the people who don't know God.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So like social media, you have some Christians, you have some lukewarm people, you got people who are atheists, people who don't believe in God, whatever. But those are the people that need it.
Right.
The people that need the good news is not us. We know about them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like it's a fear of talking to people who don't know him. I don't know what that's about, but it's like that's where it matters.
I mean, that's where the boldness comes in at, though.
Yeah.
It's easy to have a conversation with another Christian about
Yeah,
Jesus.
you can talk about God all
Y'all on
day.
the same playing field, but to go
Yeah.
out there like we've literally been on the streets, like downtown Orlando, Paramore, like talking to people as we're giving them food.
I think that people think you have to be an evangelist to go and share the gospel or to go and tell the good news or talk to people about Jesus. But that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely false. Like if y'all want to argue with me, go read your Bible. Okay. It's in Matthew somewhere. But it is. But when God says go out and make disciples, like he wasn't saying certain people.
Mm-hmm.
He said for all of us to do it.
Right.
So that doesn't mean that only certain people, because they are labeled as a evangelist, they get to go and share the faith. Like, no, all of us should be doing it.
Right.
Period.
I agree.
You know? I think that there are different types of evangelists, like apologetics. People who are apologists, they are defenders of the faith. So when they go, when they talk and they preach the gospel, they can go, back to back with a person with a different religion. That's different. That's a different type of boldness. That's a different type of patience you got to have. And I think that's a gift. So that's different. But just an evangelist, at some point, following God means you're going to have to be an evangelist. Like, you're going to have to be an evangelist. You're just going to have to. Whether it makes you uncomfortable, you don't want to do it or not, you may have to do it. There is a saying that I want to talk to you about and see what you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
So when people say, I'll give you my take on it and you tell me what you think about it.
Okay.
Because it kind of goes to what we were talking about anyway. So there's a saying that people say on like social media or just like out their mouth in a regular conversation. People will say that they only go places that serve them, or they only want to be in relationships and around people that serve them. If it doesn't serve them, they're out. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing it because it's
Mm-hmm.
not like good for me.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I feel like that God has been teaching me, look at the things that I say or
Yeah.
the things that I hear and look at it differently.
Mm-hmm.
So like when I seen someone say that, it kind of just hit me like, that's kind of wild to say for people in his kingdom. I'm not talking about people who don't know God. I'm not talking about people who do the other things, but like people in his kingdom, like God's children that like serve him. It's kind of crazy to say that. And the reason why I say that is because everything won't serve you. Like everything is not going to serve you, but that doesn't mean that it's not for you to have in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So for us to walk around, it's kind of like, what word would I use? It's kind of prideful for us to walk around and say, if it doesn't serve me, I don't want it around me. Because we are literally servants. The Bible says that we are servants, right? So if we're servants, why do we feel like we have to always be served?
That's good.
You know what I mean? So for me to walk around saying like if it don't serve me, I'm out. It's not all about you.
Right.
That's the craziest thing. I
It's not
keep
gonna
saying
always
that.
be about
It's
you.
not always about you. And I said, a lot of people, and even me myself at times, I felt like I live and my life is all about me. And it's not. My life is literally to serve God, to serve his people, and whatever it is he asks me to do.
Hmm.
So if we're servants, why do we feel like we always supposed to be served? Like, what does that show to other people?
I
But
think that's a worldly feeling though.
yeah, I think it's just like one of those things that people just say but don't know really what they saying.
No, they do know what they're saying.
You think so?
Yeah, it's a worldly feeling, just like something like pride.
Yeah.
Like it's just a worldly thing. Like you shouldn't have pride in certain situations, but you will. It just
Mm-hmm.
it's something you may have to pray about, you may have to talk about. But as far as like being self-serving, like it's a worldly thing. Honestly, a lot of people do that, and even Christians do that. I think
Mm-hmm.
that you have to be in like a certain space to see above that, to see like, hey, I may need to talk to this person that I have no clue who they are. They may just need my help. They may just need some prayer.
Yeah.
Like, and I may have to do that. Like, everybody don't do that. Like some people may I don't know, like I guess it just comes down to the world that we live in today. Like validation is big. Um People want something out of everything.
Yeah, like what can I get out of this? Like if I'm friends with you, I got to get something out
Yeah.
and you got to get something out. But
Hmm.
sometimes you're right. Not to cut you off. I think sometimes you there to do a thing and then that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or they're there to do a thing to instill something in you, to sow something in you, like a little seed or whatever, and then that's it.
Yeah.
It may not serve you.
Hmm.
It may not.
Yeah. Everything we do won't necessarily serve us,
Yeah,
but it'll serve God though. Like it may not serve me personally,
but
but
it'll serve him
yes.
or
Yeah,
serve
for
the
sure.
other person,
For sure.
right? Because yeah, it's crazy when you think about it. Because it's like, wow, we really out here living like people supposed to be just pouring into us all the time, giving to us all the time.
And it's
Like,
crazy because when you think about it, like a lot of people, and I'll say like even me in my life, I uh, I get a lot of information from people that are doing things that I may want to do or in places I may want to be in.
yeah,
Like that's what like a mentor is. Like, but picture a mentor saying, "Why am I talking to you? You're not like
you can't do nothing
you
for
can't do
me,
nothing for me.
right?
I'm doing everything for you. Like I'm helping you, but you ain't helping
Yeah.
me. And that mentor probably has a mentor, but like it's always somebody that you can learn from, somebody that can
Mm-hmm.
give you advice, and you as a person may not necessarily be helping that person that's giving you the advice, but
Yeah.
they're helping you. So I feel the same way with me. Like if someone needs me for something and I feel like it can serve them, I'll do it. I'll
Yeah.
talk to them. I'll take out my time to do that. Like it's not gonna always benefit me.
It's not gonna always
That's
be
that's
about
really
you.
like a selfish. It's just a selfish thought, honestly. It's very very selfish. But people are selfish, and a
Yeah.
lot of people don't. It doesn't seem like anything's wrong with that. Like I'm looking out for me. People
Mm-hmm.
say little things like that. Like I'm looking out for me.
Right.
I gotta look out for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
And it's just
it's
pride.
yeah. Those are selfish thoughts, and the quicker you get out of it, the better.
I don't know. It's like the quicker we start figuring out that we are here to serve, our lives will be way better.
Hmm. Yes. Not so much about what you can get from God, but what you
Yeah.
can give to God.
Yeah. It's a really bad theory. It's a sad it grieves me when I see people say that they like praying, they always want something from God, like as if he's a vending machine. It's a vending machine theory. Like I put in and then I get out. I put in and then I get out. But like what about just putting in just because you want to put in? And you may not get nothing out.
You may not get anything back.
You have to know that his grace and everything else is sufficient. That was in the Bible app this morning. His grace is sufficient. So it's like even if he don't give me nothing else today, it's enough.
Hmm.
A person that died for you?
Yeah.
Like what? It's enough. But we keep putting ourselves in these positions. Like the media runs it so bad. The world runs it so bad that you're gonna get all of these things from God. You may not even be prepared to get the things you're asking for.
Right.
Like he has to develop you and build you. And that's why a lot of people run when the wilderness season comes or when the suffering happens, people run, which is crazy because that's what builds and matures you. So
Hmm.
when he does give you the thing, you know how to steward it.
Right.
You have to grow first.
Hmm.
Like you have to grow.
He not gonna place $1 billion in your hand tomorrow.
He's not.
You don't even know what to do with
You
that
can't
billion.
even pay your rent on time.
He's not about to just give it to you. Yeah,
the
that.
that's why I love the book. If y'all want to read a book, read The Awe of God by John Bevere. It's so good because it teaches you about having a fear of God, a healthy fear of God. And when you have a fear of God, you don't look at him for none of those things no more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you fear him because you love him. You fear him because if he goes away, because like there's times in the Bible where God went distant from people. That's scary.
Mm-hmm.
You fear him because you don't want him to ever go anywhere, and because you love him so much, you have a reverence for God. But when you don't have that, you think about those other things like the vending machine theory or what you can get out of him or blessings and miracles. Like, no, understand that he already did everything he needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. He don't got to do nothing else. Y'all hear me? He don't got to do nothing else. And the quicker you realize that, the easier your life will be.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Ooh,
Yeah,
he
that's
don't got to
that's
do
not.
nothing
He don't have to do
else.
nothing else.
He doesn't have to do anything
That's
else.
not good doctrine.
What he's already done is enough.
It's already enough. I woke up this morning breathing. My kids is healthy. I have a roof over my head,
Mm-hmm.
food in my refrigerator.
Yeah.
If I live my life like this for the rest of my life, I'm fine.
Yeah.
You have to be okay with that.
Yeah. It's a decent size house.
You know what I'm saying? I remember living in a 1 bedroom, a 2 bedroom. I remember living in a hood.
Yeah, it was making it work.
And you thought it was all you, and it was you had a covering. We had coverings.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think of it like our grandparents and people who loved us. We had a covering over us. We didn't even know much about God, but we were still covered. He still covered us. Make sure y'all check on y'all hearts today. So, like, if no one,
add that in the end.
yeah,
Check on your heart.
check on your hearts today. If no one's asked you the question, how's your heart today? Check on your own, because it is something that we have to do daily. Check on our hearts and pick up our crosses daily. So, yeah, we see you in the next episode.
Next episode.
Bye.